Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our GHI webinar in partnership with Rsmart on how digitalisation can drive efficiency savings. Now, more than ever, companies are looking at how they can improve their bottom line, as well as tackle the current recruitment challenge. And focusing on optimising rosters is a great place to start. So before I pass you over to the founder, Rajan, and Keith, who leads the business development of Rsmart, I just wanted to point out we've got some polls. So please do get involved, don't be shy, and do click. And then I will announce the results at the end, alongside a bit of time for some Q&A. So without further ado, I let Rajan and Keith talk about their resources and their solutions of helping airlines and handlers cut costs and make headcount savings. Over to you, Rajan.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Good morning and good day to you, everyone. My name is Rajan. I'm talking to you from Mumbai, India. Rsmart as a company, we are an India and Finland-based company, and I'm talking to you from Mumbai office now. And I have the Keith along with me, part of this webinar today. It's my pleasure to be part of this webinar where we can share our experience in digitalizing the ground operations and helping the ground operations achieving the maximum efficiency and achieving the manpower, man-hours saving, I would say. That is what we have been doing it for years. It's been 13 years we are part of this journey. As a company, we have started our journey from the new Greenfield Airport in Bangalore, India, where we started our journey, and it's 14th year we are on this business of helping ground handling companies achieving their goals in terms of achieving the better efficiency and achieving the goals in terms of saving the headcount and saving the man hours. Happy to be part of this webinar today, and thank you for your participation. I will just get back to Sam to take this forward. Pleasure. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Rajan. And Keith, over to you. Please kindly say some few words about your good self and the company. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll introduce myself and then talk a little bit about headcount saving and what's happening in the market today, as far as I can see. Yeah, I'm Keith Purdom. I've got a background in ground handling. I've held C-level appointments in cargo, passenger, and ramp. 20-odd years now, I've been an independent consultant, wide range of projects, but all around ground handling. One that is on the record, because a lot are under NDA, is I did 18 months with Aviaserv in Germany and France, which was a great time with some great people. I have a lot of conversations with people in the industry. I attend GHI events, the sister company of the magazine, and there's some very interesting panels. There's very interesting people come along to the Rsmart booth. And one of the things that is very, very current at the moment is staff shortages, difficulty in recruitment, difficulty in retention. It seems it's not as bad everywhere. I think it has been particularly bad in the UK, and maybe you probably guessed I'm English, but I'm based in Manchester, and I know that some of our bigger airports have had really difficult problems with recruitment and retention. Hidden in there is experience loss. It's all very well to say, yeah, we've replaced all the positions where people had left, but actually you're losing expertise. Some of you may be familiar with the Sunday Times, one of the leading British newspapers. Last Sunday, there's a big article about Wizz Air and their punctuality problems and their problems with refunds and so on. And the CEO is quoted as saying it was the loss of expertise as much as the loss of numbers that have caused him the very big headaches. There's an anecdote from one of the UK ground handlers who needed don't know exact number, but circa 40 staff at a particular location. And they actually got 40 people to turn up for the start of a 2-week training session. Some dropped out the second day, some dropped out the second week. Some failed to show the first day of work, and at the end of that, 8 of the 40 actually started work. And by the way, they lost 6 staff on the same day. So their net gain from all that was just 2 people. So it's a real current issue, I believe, but it's not the same all over the world. And you know, I know we have people from many different markets here. There's a lot about how to better recruit, how to better train, how to better lead out there. Again, GHI events have had panel sessions on this, but what I've noticed is some of the speakers are a bit reluctant to share their secrets on exactly how good or bad the situation is and exactly how they're going to recruit and retain. LinkedIn has got some articles. There's been articles in the GHI magazine on the subject. But today, and I hope this translates, I want you to look through the other end of the telescope. Instead of focusing on how are we going to fill these positions, let's have a think about how could we need less staff in the first place so that recruitment needs to recruit less people. Our training sessions need to train less people. Our HR needs to deal with less people leaving and joining and all the issues that HR have in the recruitment process. So I believe that there is no solution to the recruitment that doesn't involve looking at salary. But I want to focus, I believe IT is a big part of the solution in how digitalizing manual processes can reduce the need for staff. Not only can it support the achievement of your SLAs with your airline customers and maybe with the airport. We're going to talk about PRM later and how it can support your contractual obligations, but also how you address on-time performance and getting better rosters using fewer people with the right skills at the right place at the right time can actively support and make your operation just a little better. So our webinar is going to talk about how digitalization can be part of the solution to the current staff issues. Just to give you some context, Rsmart have got 10,000 staff on their system in various places around the globe, and they're managing 3,000 flights a day, providing rosters and other services for that. So we have a poll now, so I'm going to hand over to Sam to see if my views are shared by the audience.
Great, thanks, Keith. So yes, we're looking at recruitment and retention. So if you mind putting the poll up, it says, are you having recruitment and retention issues? And the first answer is recruitment only. The second is retention only. And the third option is both. So while you're voting for that, and thank you, Keith, you make some really interesting points just then. Rajan will now explain how digitalization can help reduce headcount. Over to you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that. Here, when it comes to the digitalization of the process that helps you to make sure that you're having enough number of people to take care of all the tasks for the day, and whether the people are now equipped and skilled enough to get the things going, we do have a simple mobile-based application that is available as a SaaS model, that is software as a service. It is a cloud-based application that helps you to cover all the aspects of the ground operations, resource management. It starts from the planning, wherein you want to know how many people you need, how many hours they need to spend, and it has to be, aligned with the local national law, the company policies as per the country policy. Based on that, you need to know how many people you would need to take care of all the flights that are supposed to be handled on the particular day. based on the contracts and the SLA you are having with various SLA with various different type of customers across the globe. All the airlines have their different SLA service levels, and your agreements are complex, and it has so many clauses where you need to take care of many more things, more than 50 plus activities that you need to perform for each and every turnaround. And you need to make sure that enough manpower is available to you and they are available on time and they're able to take care of this. We do have a simple solution that can simply calculate, and within few minutes it can tell you that how many flights you are supposed to handle for a month, and for that month how many people you need, and what kind of skills they are supposed to have. That is coming out of this planning module, where the system is able to take care of collecting all your flight information, the flight data. It can talk to the airport flight systems to bring the data, or it can talk to the IATA messaging to bring the flight information, and it can take the SLAs that has been updated by you. Based on that, it will be able to plan and tell you exactly how many people you would need to take care of your entire operation. That is part of the planning portion. From the planning, the system automatically plans each and every person, what time he's supposed to start the work, how many hours he'll be working in a week, how many hours he'll be working in a month. And you may be having a kind of a national law or rule that can talk about, one can work maximum 40 hours a week, or one can work 2,000 hours a year. So all these things based on the kind of a rules passed into the system within a minute can tell you that what time the employee is supposed to come, how many flights he'll be working on that day. That too based on the skill set what he's having. So each and every employee, suppose example, the primary skill of a person may be a check-in counter agent, but the same person can also do boarding for you. So in the system, we capture each and every employee, what kind of a skill they have, and what is the priority you want to give it to them. The first priority is check-in, then after that boarding. Likewise, you capture the information. Based on that, the system can give you a optimum roster that can put the people, they start at what time and how many 8 hours they are working, how many flights they are doing. That is coming out of the system as a roster. So the system completely runs at the background. The system engine runs and gives you each and every employee. You have 1,000 employees and how many hours they work and what they'll be do. You'll be able to get this out of Rsmart within few minutes. Once the basic information is supplied, it can process and tell you the entire information in front of you. The day of operation is always a challenging one. Nothing goes as planned in the aviation. So there is always a delay, cancellation, early arrival, or maybe some disruptions on the day. So on the day of operation, we have this module. This takes care of on the day who is available. Suppose there are 10 employees, they are sick, they are not available on the day, or there is a new ad hoc flight that's coming in. Based on all these changes, the system can reprocess, do the auto allocation, and it can allocate and give you exactly what is to be done on that day. So all these items, starting from the planning and having a named roster with rosters and shift timings and allocation, and making the changes on the day of operation, all goes in a single engine, single database system, and it is available to you on the mobile. Your managers can use the information on the mobile tablets, or they can use the laptops. They'll be able to view what is happening around. Dashboards are available too. And each and every employee is connected through the simple mobile application. The mobile application is it's Android or iOS. I have to just go to the Play Store, download, and I can use my username and password. I'll be able to see my roster, what I'm supposed to do on the day. Is there any special instructions for me? So it is completely a collaborative tool that is talking to the database on a daily basis, or it is every minute there's a change that can come into. We also connect with the airport flight information system to get the latest information about the flight. If there is a delay or cancellation, that is also covered part of it. So any point in time, as a planner, I have my roster planned for the entire month. I can do suppose for the month of June, I can process the roster and get it ready for my 4 or 5 departments. In an hour's time, I'll be able to get this plan done. The plan is done not only just to the demand creation, it creates the demand, it matches with the available people, and it assigns the task to them, and it is giving you the named roster with the start time and the end time, and each and every employee can see what they can do. So this is the kind of the background process in the system that does the magic, where you get everything in your hand that is available to you on the mobile. Here, the system, as the system is working based on the SLAs, what you are having, and based on the day of operations, flight profile, all this information, and it works. The system already has the database of each and every employee, and the system knows what skill the employee is having, what trainings the employee is having, whether he has the right enough qualification or he is having the right license. So the system makes sure that the right employee is placed for the right job at the right time. It gives you the optimum efficiency in terms of, if you are manually, if you're doing a roster, or if you're manually processing it, or if you're processing it through a system, Rsmart engine, it can give you percentage of efficiency in terms of the people are assigned based on their, skills, based on their availability. It is giving the best out of them, and it takes care of all the other aspects of it. Like you want to give, say, at least a 12 hours shift rest between two shifts, or you want to give them 2 rest days in a week, and you want to give them, at least one Sunday in a month. You can put all your rules into the system. It's all about configurable rules. Once you tell the system how you want it, you may have a different SLAs of the same airline at different airports. You may be having a multi-airport operation where the rules, what you are applying in one airport may not applicable to the other airport. The rules that you want to apply for one department may not apply to the other department. You want to have a different rules for your cargo department. You want to have a different rules for your ramp department. All these things are configured in the system, and based on that, you are getting the right roster. Once you get this roster that comes out, the system is able to process all your rules, all your employee information, their training, and what they trained and what they have information, everything it has along with. Based on that, it is actually processing and give you the result output to you. So it is a very easy, the job of a planner becomes very easy because the system considering all the aspects of it, the flight availability, or any new flights coming in, ad hoc flights, and it also taking care of the people, their availability. You have different part-timers and full-timers with the different combination of rules, and you want to consider part-timers. You want to make sure that the job are given to the part-timers when they are really available, or the job for the part-timers are given when there is a demand and they can bid for it. All this part of the resource management part. With this, you can be doubly sure that the manpower is being utilized with a maximum efficiency. At the same time, it helps you in reducing the cost in terms of the overtime what you are paying to the employees. In the overall ground operations, whenever, as we already touched upon, nothing is going to happen on time, or nothing is going to happen on plan. Actually, there will be always delay, cancellations, ad hoc flights, and some exceptions handling on the day. Based on that, the system makes sure that the right people available on the ground are taking care of it, and it is also giving the task to the people based on their different skill sets and based on the priorities, so that it reduces the overtime. This is one of the area we are working on, where we are able to help people reducing the headcount, help people reducing the number of overtime they used to pay every month. This is what we are doing. One of our implementations, largest implementation in Malaysia, where we have 4 different airports in Malaysia using the system. We are having about some 4,000 employees using the system, and we are doing a centralized roster for all their locations and all their different airports. And we are handling about 2,000 flights a day approximately there. And the system does the entire month of planning. In a couple of hours, they are ready with their plan, and they are ready to go, and they are ready to publish. Once the roster is published, it goes to the mobile phone of each and every employee. They are informed that what is their shift time, and they can also see each and every shift what they are supposed to do, and they can update what they are doing. It's a completely collaborated system, wherein we are able to show them efficiency in terms of the improvement in efficiency, and the improvement in the cost, overtime cost reduction by 15%. These are all the kind of achievements we have done in one of the implementations we have done in Malaysia. Our story goes from Bangalore to Malaysia and Europe, various parts of the world where we develop, where we implemented this solution, where we have seen this kind of a cost benefit and efficiency benefit we bring along. So with digitalization, we are able to help achieving the goals of the ground handlers in a easier as well as the computerized way of approaching things and getting the benefits out of. I'm leaving it to Keith to share his experience with. Over to you, Keith, please.
Yeah, thanks, Rajan. I'm not a technical person. I think I may have said that earlier, but some of the things that I like about this, and I wish I'd had in my ground handling days, rosters are often produced locally at each airport. And I think on close investigation, sometimes you find inefficiencies, sometimes you find a bit of favoritism going on, or practices which, and I don't suggest anything, if you like, illegal, but different practices at each station, whereas you as the owner of the business may want a standard roster approach across your network. One of the problems I experienced was I would ask my ops department, I think I can win this airline at this station. They're coming in at peak. What's the impact on my cost of labor and on my GSE? And I'd wait forever. It would take ages, and then I really wouldn't believe the answer, because it often seemed like, really, they need that many extra staff? But with automated rosters, it's very simple to do a what if. What if we win this carrier who comes in off peak every day? Do I actually need any additional staff? Do I need any additional skill sets to handle? So very quickly, in a what if we win this customer? Hey, what if we lose this customer? What's the impact on my rosters and my cost of labor? I wanted just also to reinforce Rajan's real-time day of ops. We all know nothing ever happens on the day as planned. But what Rajan can do in allowing you to produce invoices, of rosters a month ahead for the summer season, for the winter season, you can identify where you've got skill shortages, which feeds into your training management. You can run your roster literally for the season or the year for budgetary purposes, and it will identify if you've got staff number and staff skill set shortages. One of the things I particularly liked with one implementation was that we were identifying they needed, I think it was 20 baggage loaders at peak time, and they'd only got 19. Well, the management just said, oh, we can cope with that on the day. We don't need to respond to that. But they also identified that they needed 3 load controllers at peak times, and they'd actually only got 2. So 33% down, if my math's correct. They actually decided the recruitment wasn't needed, but they would provide additional training so that they had, in fact, a surplus of load controllers, because nobody's going anywhere unless your load control is done. So the ability on the day to react to changes, I think is absolutely critical. You can drag and drop. You can move Keith from this flight to that flight. You can simply put a reallocate button. But it really manages very tightly, objectively. It's not for favoritism. It's just who's got the skill sets, who's available, who's going to move to this flight or that flight. So the whole thing around what if scenarios and how to respond on my day is seen as absolutely central. The other thing I'll just make, and then I'll hand over for I think another poll next, is some markets are very reliant on part-time staff. Part-time staff are critical to the operation, but part-time staff are part-time usually for a reason. They've got a second job, they're involved in childcare, they're a student, they've got another job. So they typically are less flexible than full-time staff. So actually producing rosters that optimize your use of the part-time staff and provide a workable roster for your full-time staff is something that can come out of this. Not favoritism, but practicality of making sure that your part-time staff are rostered when they're actually available, so you don't get no-shows or short-term, I can't do Monday morning, I need it to be Tuesday type problems. So I think we're going to go to another poll. One of my big experiences in handling is about revenue leakage, and we're going to ask if that's a common problem, and then we'll talk a little bit about the problem and the Rsmart solution.
Thanks, Keith. Right, so the next poll on aircraft turnaround management, we are asking you, are you concerned that not all non-standard services performed during a turnaround or night stop are invoiced? Are you a little concerned, a lot, or not at all? So while everyone's doing that, Rajan, maybe you could talk us through this aspect of the presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Thank you very much. Yeah, so when it comes to the question of whether you are able to invoice 100% of all the services what you are providing, or you are providing some services, whether the services are really charged or not, is there any revenue leakage in terms of you are losing out some money because you have provided a service but it is not being captured on the day? This is always a kind of a big question in front of the handling operations when it is manually handled or a paper-based approach or any other kind of an approach. To come out of this challenge and help the handlers making sure that they are doing a 100% invoice of all the services they are providing, and they are not leaving any special services or additional services provided on the day is not being charged for the operations that you are provided. We have come out with a simple mobile-based application. We call it ATM, Rsmart ATM, which is our Rsmart aircraft turnaround management system. Here we do have this mobile app that is hosted on the as a SaaS model, wherein you can connect to the servers of the cloud servers of Rsmart and update all the activities that you are performing for each and every flight operations that you are handling on a day. Here again, we have a flight database where we collect all the flight information of you. Suppose a ground handling operation you are handling at a particular airport, we capture all the flights that you will be handling on the day. And the system also take care of all your contracts that you are having with your customers. Okay, suppose what is your package charges if you're handling a wide body aircraft, or if you're handling a narrow body aircraft, how much to be charged. And if you are providing any standard services part of the package, that how much you'll be charging for it. Or whenever some additional services are provided, you are giving some extra GPU or extra ECU and additional start, all these things, how you want to charge. All these things, as per your IATOC standard contract can be completely translated into Rsmart digital contract. Based on this digital contract, the system captures all list, every customer of yours, every airport, how much you want to charge them whenever you are providing this service, and what is part of the package, what is the out of the package that you want to charge them. Everything is managed in the contract part of it. And the contract management can also alert you that before the contract is getting expired, it can alert you maybe 30 days, 60 days, or 6 months before. It can tell you this particular airline contract is going to get expired, you have to get ready for it. So that kind of a contract management is the basic portion of it. From there, we connect all the activities that you are performing that can be mapped into the mobile application. So in the mobile application, the system can capture all the activity that you are performing along with the timestamp. So each and every services, what time it started, what time it finished, okay, how many people involved in, and which equipment is being used. We capture all this information, part of the turnaround management, mobile data capturing. From there, we connect all, and the system has the ability to do a billing of all the services that are provided on the day. So as a handler, you need to just make sure that your agents downloaded the app from the web and they are using this mobile app on their mobile phone, and they just update what they are doing. In the case, they need to just swipe, start the activity and finish the activity. Once they update this information, the system is able to do you 100% accurate invoice. The invoice can be in any currency, or it can be the invoice can be multi-currency, or you want to do a US dollar billing, or you want to do a euro billing, or you want to make it in a local currency, you can do that. And it also connects with the resource module to bring in the right resources used, how many minutes the resources are used, how much to charge, that also coming from there. And it also makes sure that each and every services that are provided that are being digitally approved by the crew or captain. So if you are providing additional GPU, I can just go and give this to the the airport manager of the airline, or I can give it to the crew to sign it digitally. So each and every flight using Rsmart will be updated on the mobile application, and it will be closed by the agents, and it will be approved by the managers real time. So before the flight is leaving, you will be able to digitally close the flight. That can give you the digital handling form approved, digitally signed by the managers. That will be the proof for your billing part of it. So it helps you to make sure that each and every service provided are recorded and approved. And once it is approved, before the flight is leaving the airport, it has been approved, so that there is no dispute in the future in terms of you are sending this invoice after a month. Still, the information can be shared with your customers on an immediate basis. The system can immediately send out the final approved PDF to the customer saying that this flight is closed, these are all the services provided, and this additional service, so that each and every flight can be invoiced 100% accurate. So that is what the mobile application helps you to achieve. This is again one of our recent implementation experience in Europe that we would like to share with you, where we are handling about 8,500 flights on a day, and each and every activity of performing activity has been captured on the mobile phone. And the mobile phone also has the facility to capture the barcodes, and it can read the barcodes from the GSE equipment, where it can capture which equipment is being used, how many minutes it has been used. That can be captured directly from the equipment. It can interface with the equipments to bring the data directly through the EDIs and interfaces. So we have the contract management module collecting all the information through the mobile application, and the calculates and exactly printing the invoices that are to be paid for each and every flight. This particular invoice may be monthly, weekly, or it may be fortnightly as per the requirement of the airline, and it will be able to send the information to them on an immediate basis, so that you can be doubly sure that each and every GSE used is been time stamped, and you have the proof for it, and you are doing 100% invoicing, and you can doubly sure that there is no revenue leakage, because each and every services provided are recorded and it has been approved. This way we help the handlers to make sure that they are capturing the activities and billing them 100%. And this solution will help to achieve this area of you are 100% sure that you are charging all. Maybe over to you, Keith. Probably if you'd like to add something more to this, please.
I think you've given a very thorough explanation, but there's a little anecdote that I often use when Rajan and I are on a GHI stand at an event somewhere in the world, that when I took over as CEO at Service Air, I had two issues. One was costs and the other was revenue. Thinking in this context of the revenue, my mind turned to putting up prices, winning new customers. And it was pointed out to me by people much cleverer than me that if we went around trying to win a load of business off the competition, they wouldn't just say, good luck, get on with it. They'd come knocking on our customer's door and take customers off us. So the net result wouldn't be great. And price increases are never easy to achieve, can take a long time, can be acrimonious. Somebody much cleverer than me said, Keith, if we invoiced everything that we're entitled to, we'd put a few points on the bottom line, a few points of margin. And I have this wonderful recollection. I said earlier, I'm based in Manchester. We used to have to work out which football team was playing midweek in terms of who we rostered. But this particular day, it's cold and wet. It's Manchester. And I'm in the crew room, and one of our turnaround coordinators came in, and she was windswept, hair everywhere, soaking wet, bad mood because it was horrible out there on the ramp. And my manager said, that flight, did it have any additional services over and above the standard ones in the SGHA? And she said, well, yeah, we had some, it got stuck at the gate. We had extra GPU. Oh yeah, we had to do a clean because the aircraft was soiled on arrival. And he said, well, where's the documents? And she said, oh, look, it's wet. I can't read it. Anyway, Man United are playing it tonight and my shift's over. So good night. And we never did invoice it. We never knew. And I did a accounts forensic examination around the network. And I found a lot of uninvoiced revenue. I found one station that it was 14%, 1/4 of the non-standard charges. So I didn't need to go headlong like a bull in a china shop, if that translates, to talk about, you've got to put your prices up. We started getting much better at invoicing all that we could. And I think the problem we then had was airlines would say, no, we didn't. And we'd say, yes, you did. And they'd say, no, you didn't. And we'd say, oh, well, you're a big customer of ours. We'll let you off on this occasion. What Rsmart can do is provide facts, not anecdotes, not bits of wet paper, data captured, digital signatures to prove that the captain or the station manager or some other authorized person did actually sign for the extra services. I think any company is going to be pretty good at invoicing the standard turnaround price. You know, if it's a 380, it's 5,000 euros or whatever. But you know, are we as good, and we're going to get the poll results shortly, at finding all the additional services that were actually charged? So that's just some personal recollections of mine that really supported the sort of rather comprehensive view that Rajan gave.
Perfect. So we want to talk about PRMs now, Keith. And before we go to the poll, would you like to say a few words about that?
Yes, thank you. I had to use this service once, so I've actually got some experience, which was a bit weird, but we actually are very grateful to GHI Magazine. They're running an article about PRMs and about how Rsmart and Rajan can help the service. Fundamentally, it goes back to efficiency. Have we got enough people at the right time at the right place? Again, you know, around recruitment and retention, really. PRM business model, I know, is vastly different in different parts of the world, and people listening to this will have far more knowledge of the different business models. But for example, here in Europe, it's a free service. By law, you can't charge. So the airport typically will appoint one or multiple licensees to provide the PRM service at the airport. And the airport will have pretty tough service level agreement, total elapsed time from check-in to gate or from aircraft door to landside handover. The service is complex because passengers may want to go around duty free. They may want to sit in the lounge. So the service can be paused and then reconnected. It's also typically a lowish margin service that the ground handler or a specialist PRM company is actually providing. One of the complexities is that you will get advance notice from the airlines of the people who have booked the service departing and arriving, or arriving and departing. So you'll have some data, you'll have some experience that this flight from New York usually has twice as many people want the service as pre-booked it, because you'll get people who ask for the service on arrival who haven't booked it, and you'll have experience with that. It may be by airline, it may be by route, it may be in the winter. A lot of older British tourists travel out of season, and there will be a peak wheelchair usage coming from that. So you will have some information, but you'll also get on the day, and I'm going to use a terrible description, but you'll get walk-ins, by which I mean people will arrive at check-in and say, hey, I need a wheelchair, and it won't be pre-booked. You won't have it in your plans, but you can plan for whatever you want on the day arrivals, and it may be very flight specific, it may be seasonal, but you will have the expertise to build into this. The other impact is invoicing, because if you've got a license to provide PRM, you want to get paid. We know that airports can demand a lot of evidence that the service was provided, that the SLA was met, because maybe if you don't meet the SLA, you forfeit your payment anyway. And for a lot of people, it's just a manual process. We heard of someone who had to check in with the airport customer desk, which involved a queue with the passenger in the wheelchair. So it was detracting from the experience of the passenger. It was adding time and therefore cost to the journey. But the data captured proves the service was performed. It proves the SLA was met, and it gives data, not anecdotal evidence, that the service was performed and that the invoice is correct. I hope I haven't stolen all your thunder there, Rajan, but my own experience was in Denver and involved a ski accident, and my teenage son's laughing at me in the wheelchair. So I hope other people have better experiences than that. Over to you, Rajan.
Yeah, thanks. I think, yes, Sam, probably I think we should go with the PRM poll, please.
Great, no problem. So it's concerning PRM management. Can we have it, please? Thank you. And it says, how confident are you that you have the right sources, right place, right time to provide excellent PRM service inbound and outbound? Are you very confident, a little, or not at all? So while they're doing that, Rajan, would you like to talk us through the PRM slides?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, the question is, whether do you have the right resource at the right place to handle the PRM expectations? As Keith mentioned, it's always a kind of a topsy-turvy. The number comes in the last minute, and the last minute request. Actually, it is a very challenging situation for anyone who is managing the PRM services. To address that, we have come out with this mobile application, which can be downloaded again on the Android or iOS phone. It uses the simple camera to capture the boarding card as a scanner. It can scan and it can capture the passenger information, like which flight number and what is the seat number, kind of an information, to record the each and every services that you are providing to every needy passenger. And this system actually interfaces with the real-time flight information as well, to bring in all the LDM or latest passenger messages in terms of how many wheelchairs are needed for each and every flight. So before the aircraft lands in the airport, the system knows that how many wheelchairs are requested or expected to be there. Based on that, the system use the resource management engine and bring the right people and the right skilled employees to be there on time. And this information is passed to them on their mobile phone, and they can go to the right gate and be there at the right time. That's what it does. Which, by doing this, it helps make sure that, okay, every passenger who are in need are being, the services is being provided on time. And it also captures each and every service timestamp, what time it started, what time it is finished. Someone just wants to say that, okay, leave me in the lounge for some time and I can come and pick up me after 1 hour or so, because I have 2 hours for my flight. So the system pauses the service and it captures the timestamp, and it informs the managers that which passenger has to be picked up from the lounge or picked up from the duty-free area because they asked for a pause in service. So, and again, after that, the service is getting resumed. The service can be done by a different agent. So the system allows the agent to take care of the services to a point, and he can record it. And one passenger can be handled by one or two agents, and the agents are there at the gate, at the right gate at the right time using this model. This is what this particular mobile application does, and it helps to plan the PRM activity in a very effective way. And one of the major part of it is, it connects with the other systems like the planning and the roster management, where the system knows that who is the agent who are available on the ground and whether they are having the skill or not, whether they are having the equipment along with them or not, because the system has the connection with the equipment. It can trace where the equipment is. So the tracking of the equipment and the agent at the right place is happening through the system, so that you can be you can be assured that, okay, there are 12 wheelchairs required and 12 people are there in the gate, and it has been already given you a green signal. And all this information can be seen on a dashboard, or it is available to you on your mobile phone as a dashboard. And the system can send you alerts and notifications on your mobile phones. As a manager or a duty manager, supervisor, everybody is connected. So the service is provided on time, services is provided as per the SLA, and it has been recorded so that the information can be passed back to the airport or to the airline if you want to send the weekly or a monthly reports to them. And even if you want to do a billing and you want to make sure that billing is happening properly, that is also part of it. So that way it covers the end-to-end aspects of the handling, captures the activities, captures the timestamp, which agent has done the job, and it also captures the feedback from the passenger. Passenger can give a feedback, okay, 4-star, I'm happy, and it could be better, or if it's 5-star, all happy, kind of the quick, kind of a feedback that can be taken from the passengers as well. So this particular solution has been implemented in multiple places. One of them is, in one of the major airport in, India, where the pushes are very high. We are having about some 1,500 or 1,800 peak handling on a particular day, where this particular system needs to take care of so much request that is coming in, and so many changes and disruption happening in, and so many last minute requests that has to come in. The system takes care of all this information together and put things together and give the kind of a right information to the agents as well as the managers on their mobile phone, so they are able to take care of these activities, recording the information and billing it at the same time, meeting the SLA. Suppose the SLA is, you need to do the service within, say, X number of minutes, you need to complete it, and you have to come back to the base within the X number of minutes. It takes care of all these aspects and make sure that the service is provided right and it is invoiced, and the passengers as well as the airline customers are happy. So this is how the system works. Over to you, probably, if you'd like to add something more to this.
I met your Indian client at one of the GHI events, and I was chatting with her, and I couldn't get over how enthusiastic she was and how full of praise she was. But she came up with a really interesting point. She said that she very quickly found out that the time at the end of a service to get back from the gate to base, wherever base was, presumably landside, was taking people 30 minutes. But when she did the walk, it was 10 minutes. And so she quickly realized that staff were actually having a coffee, having a cigarette or whatever, and were not returning to base in a sort of timely, efficient way. So she actually found savings really quickly in an area that she hadn't anticipated at all. So it is around the greater management control. You don't necessarily want to micromanage people, but if there are little abuses, and I might be one who went to have a coffee, but you can address them in whatever way is appropriate from your HR perspective. We have the ability for you to ask questions. I don't know, Sam, whether you want to introduce the topic. I can see one or two questions.
Yes, I mean, we can delve straight into the questions, or we've got the results now. Would you like to hear the results of them first and then go into the questions?
Let's have the results first, see if we're right.
Okay, so the third one of the PRM management, of how confident people are that they have the right resources, actually more than half, 55%, said they had little confidence that they had the right resources at the right place at the right time to provide PRM services. 18% said they were very confident, and 27% said they were not at all confident. Are you shocked by those results at all?
I think honestly they would be in line with my anecdotal expectation. We spend a lot of time talking to people at GHI events and then following up, and it is an issue. It's particularly around the straitjacket sometimes imposed by the airport. Obviously, each airport has different characteristics and different distances and different patterns. My observation, and it's no more than that, is that a lot of Brits going on holiday in the winter ask for wheelchair assistance when they're probably capable of getting on the aircraft or getting to the aircraft without any assistance, but it's a comfort level. And I know I used it for my own mother, who was in her 90s, who had, she was mobile, but she had no idea what to do after she'd checked in and we waved goodbye to her. So we had the service, and she loved it, and she thought she was the queen being pushed around the airport and helped on the aircraft and back. So those findings, I think, are very much in line with the sort of reaction we get when we're on the exhibition stand, Sam.
Excellent. And the second one about non-standard services performed during a turnaround. Will you be surprised to hear that 53% again said they were very concerned that not all these services are invoiced? And then 38% said that they were slightly concerned, and only 9% said they were not at all concerned.
That's very much in our experience of talking to airlines. There can be, I mean, the airline perspective is that they often know ground handlers don't invoice everything, but they're not about to tell the tell the handler. And talking to ground handlers, again, typically on your exhibition stands, if you talk to the finance director, he is or she is very concerned that they're not efficient in this area. There is some denial and some defensiveness, typically in organizations as well. But it is such an obvious way of increasing your revenue without having that very unsavory, we need a big price increase type conversation.
Rajan?
You're on mute, Rajan.
Yeah, fine. I think there are a couple of questions. Probably we'd like to take that questions, please, Sam.
No problem.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay, so the first one we have from Matthew Olivia, and he says, what differentiates you from the Ground Star suite of Inform?
Let me have first go at that, and we respect our customers. I'm not going to knock them, but I think the big difference that we talk about with customers is this is Rajan's company. There's no hierarchy. He says yes or no, and they either do it or they don't. There's no lengthy process. It's his company, his decisions. I think the other is we're Indian based. We have a lower cost base than most if not all of our competitors, which means that we pride ourselves on, we're not setting out to be the cheapest, but we are certainly very competitive in price. The other element, and I don't refer to Inform in specifically here, but a lot of IT companies, the business model is sell something cheap and then charge the earth for all the customization that's needed. Our contracts include customization as necessary. So we are very different in feel from a lot of our competitors. You agree with all that, Rajan?
Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, Keith. Apart from that, the main differentiation now is actually we do have a system that has been specially designed and developed for ground operations. This is not a standard engine that works for different industry or different transportation industry or something. So this is very specific to the ground handling, and it is single engine that takes care of everything, from the planning and from the, the rostering and naming, everything happening in a single solution. And it is very easy to use. And the same managers or same users can be simply start using the application, and it can be implemented faster. We can do it in weeks. You don't need to wait for a year project or a several months project. We can do it faster. That is a major differentiator.
Great. The next question we have from Ozar, and he says, how does the system handle ad hoc requests on departure and last minute requests on arrival, assuming you will only know of the request on arrival when cabin doors open?
That's a very good question. Yes. We do not have, what is going to be the ad hoc that is going to happen at the gate, but the system is capable of taking care of the request immediately once the door is open, and we'll be able to update the system that what is needed. And the system has the information readily available that who is the nearest agent available to the gate, and they can informed by the system immediately so that they can come and pick up. Suppose I'm at the gate number 11 and the requirement is at 11, the system can find someone who is at 16 to come back immediately. So the system is completely integrated, wherein it can share the information with the other handlers who are on the mobile, and it can place the nearest person available. It will allow you to take care of the request as quick as possible comparing with your current setup. We can do that, yes.
Just to add, of course, pretty much the same answer for the turnaround management. If the turnaround coordinator, the door opens and he's told they need extra wheelchairs, fine. If he's told that the APU isn't working and they need GPU and it's not in the standard contract, you simply use his handheld device and it's instantaneous. He doesn't have to ring somebody who's engaged or seek permission. It's all there in his handheld device. So if I'd gone first on this answer, the answer from me would have been really well.
Again from Ozar, he says, how are you tracking the agent and wheelchair? Agent, is it through the device and wheelchair?
Exactly right. We have the device with the agent, so we can track the agent. Similarly, the equipment is already mapped to the agent, so we can do it. We can also put a small, kind of a devices on the equipment to track it as well. We can use beacon devices. It is all depending on the airport and the airport facilities that are available. But we can track both the agent as well as the equipment simply using the device mechanism.
Great. Also, moving on then to Jana, she says, is RMS a staff planning and staff dispatching system at once?
Yes, it is a single engine. So it does all the process in one go. So the named roster is coming out, suppose for 3,000 employees, the system can maybe 15 minutes time or 12 minutes time. It can give you the complete named roster with allocations, which flight, which task, who will be doing what, everything together.
It will also record the work done because there'll be changes on the day. There may be overtime requested. There may be annualized hours. So it's fully integrated with HR systems. We offer a training management system ourselves, but you may have a training management system and it integrates with that. So it's fully integratable, if there is such a word, with all the back office systems and the airport systems. So it's up to date all the time. and it's recorded all the time. So, you know, disputes about overtime, you've got the facts.
Great. Another one we've got, is your system suitable to be used in cargo warehouses, which have over 3,500 workers with, say, 20 to 25 different specialities?
Absolutely, yes. See, already we have customers wherein, 3,500 in, one part of Malaysia, and we have 10,000 employees, 10,000 plus employees in India. So the size is not a matter here. And when it comes to specialities, the system has the unique way of defining each and every skills and the properties for the skills. So different skill sets and different number of people, either it is ground handling or cargo handling, or it is at the warehouse, the system is able to take care of that, yes.
And from Uguzan, he says digitalization causes some problems, sometimes like software problems that we all know. How do you cope with these problems?
It was a journey, actually. We come across, it's been, years, and we were the pioneer. We were the first one to introduce mobile applications on the ground operations, I would say. It's a long time we have been in this, and we've gone through this, actually. And we keep on improving. The product development in Rsmart is a daily activity. We are improving on a daily basis. We learn from each and every implementation is a learning process for us. And we have come across so many challenges, and we come to the stage now, and it's a kind of a learning process. We are overcoming it, and we are mostly ready with all the required precautions and the required informations that are ready with us. Based on that, the product is equipped enough to take care of the activities. But we understand the challenge, but we're ready for it.
It certainly isn't a day-to-day issue, and we have an SLA contracted in this area as well.
Okay, thanks. Just maybe one more to squeeze in. We have, does the HR resource alert when training is due?
Yes, absolutely. You can get alerts at various levels as well. Sorry, that noise is somebody at my front door. You can have an alert 3 months out, 6 months out to the supervisor, and then it's escalated to the manager and then the ops director a month out. So you can set your own timescale for alerts and who is being alerted.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I think that's all the time we have now. But if you do have any other questions, please do not hesitate and get in touch with Keith and Rajan, who will be more than willing to answer any follow-up questions. And Keith, yeah.
If I may, I wanted to thank you, Sam. I wanted to thank GHI. I wanted to thank everybody who came on. You can meet us at Lisbon at the GHI annual event. You can read about our PRM, thanks to Sam, in a future edition of the GHI magazine. But I hope it's been as stimulating for the audience as it has been for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. And there are a couple of last questions I'm able to see. Yes, we have a 24-hour support. We understand it is a aviation operation, so we have 24/7 support that is coming across all the 7 days of the week. And another question is about, yes, it is giving you a kind of visibility. If you have anywhere excess resource or available resource, the system will be able to indicate that to you for sure. The system does that. Okay, we will be happy to have your questions from you. You can send us to, and thank you very much for your time, and pleasure meeting you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again, everyone, for joining us. And you will have access to the presentation if necessary, and also a webinar link so you can watch it all again. So thank you very much for your time, and until the next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye.